Thanks for joining us on today's segment of Behind the Veil, your one-stop shop for the I do's and I don'ts of Athens weddings. I'm Caitlin Walker, and these are my co-hosts.
I'm Emily Curl.
And I'm Gracie Shelton.
And I'm Catherine Schwartz.
Today's edition is all about the veil. We've been seeing a lot of brides lately that have totally ditched the veil. It's totally changing tradition. It's kind of a new thing, and we're not really sure if we like this or not. For me, it's kind of bucking tradition, but I have heard kind of an interesting rumor about what the veil was originally created for, and that is in the situation of an arranged marriage. The father of the bride would kindly hide his daughter when giving her away. And to me, that kind of makes me think, well, I'm not sure if I like this tradition at all.
Right, and it's kind of interesting because I've heard the tradition, where the bride wears the veil. So for the first time, the husband, it's like a purity thing, and the husband lifts the veil when he sees her first. And so that's kind of a nice tradition, but it's one of those things that I feel like the tradition has kind of gotten lost in translation.
Right.
Because is it, a really important family tradition if anyone really knows the background?
Exactly.
Because it's one of those things you hear about. I used to go to lots of weddings and I would see brides who'd wear the veil, but nowadays it's very uncommon to see someone walk down the aisle with a veil covering them. Exactly.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of think that, personally, I don't really like it, to be honest. Like, I like when granted, like, tradition is great, and if you're a very traditional person, then, like, more to you. But, like, I think that, like, we're modern, we're young, like, I think we should be able to, we're fun,
Carefree.
So I think that we should be able to, like, I don't know, not wear a veil, like, see our pretty hair and our makeup, and it's kind of like a focus on the bride, without the veil.
We're getting rid of our shoes.
Right. I feel like it kind of takes away from the bride because the entire ceremony she's going to have her face covered.
Yeah.
And then it's not till the end until you see her face, which, obviously that's going to produce pretty pictures at the end, but I don't know if I'd want to go the entire ceremony with my face covered.
And I've seen so many more unconventional brides lately, and I've seen the ones who wear, they do kind of the 60s look and they have the short veil and like the bright red lipstick, and I think that's really beautiful. But you see a lot of people going a little bit more funky and a little bit more modern with their bride choices and with the way they wear their hair.
Right.
So I think the veil is one of those things it's becoming a thing of the past.
I think it also is really dictated by how are you going to wear your hair. For me, I want basically what I'm wearing now, just really loose, soft waves. And you can't, a veil will look, it's just not going to look right with that. But if you have a really elaborate updo, I think a veil really enhances that. So I think, if anything, brides are kind of just letting how they want their hair and how they envision themselves on their big day as whether or not they use a veil.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, it could depend on where you have the wedding, because if you have an outside venue, you
Right.
may want your hair up,
Yeah, that's really hot.
because of humidity and whatnot. So that might also dictate if you decide to wear a veil or not.
And I do love when brides wear they have like their hair back and they just have it pinned in the back somewhere.
I love
And it's
that.
not covering their face, but they still have the same tradition. And a lot of times it's like their mom's like lace from her dress on the veil, which is like a nice special touch for the wedding day.
It's for the
Or a
indices.
headpiece.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that, like something simple. It's still something in your hair, but not necessarily a veil.
Right,
Giving
exactly.
you just that little extra. I like a little touch of something. I mean, even if I did wear my hair down, I don't think I could just wear it down and not have any little bit of like jewel kind of thing going on, or even just flowers. I kind of like that's a little bit hippie-ish, but I like flowers.
Flower crowns?
too.
I go to a
I
flower
think
crown
that's
every
so
day of my
cute.
life.
Seriously,
And I
every
love
day.
like the hippie brides. You're just like, wow.
It's
yes.
like you are awesome.
Do you? I like it.
Exactly,
Cool.
yeah.
Yes.
Agreed. I'd wear some sort of headpiece or some sort of veil.
I think so, because it's your only time in life that you're going to be able to wear something like that.
Exactly.
And it, be acceptable. You're not
Right.
wearing a crown, but basically, so.
Basically, because a tiara, like I initially wanted to
Hey,
wear
it's
a
your
tiara.
wedding. You're basically royalty.
There you go.
Crowns during their
No,
weddings?
they don't. But I have obviously always wanted to be a princess, and I really
Why not? Why
want
do
to
you
wear a
want that?
tiara. Like that is my dream in life, but it's never gonna happen. So flower crown is like the next best
The
thing.
next step,
Because
yeah.
everyone would be like, "Who is this girl? Like, who does she think she is?"
It's your day, so you can.
I mean, I guess I could do
The
that.
coolest thing too is a lot of times you see people who will wear the vintage pieces and they'll find these like great old things that belong to their grandmother, and they'll find like a Gore vintage in Athens, and they'll put that in their hair, and I think that's kind of like a blast in the past, but keeping it still the modern trend.
The tradition without all
Yeah.
of the
Tradition without all the fluff.
the frilly stuff. Catherine's not a fan of the frilly stuff. Okay, so can we get a final I do, I don't on veils for your wedding day? Emily?
I do.
I do.
I don't.
I don't either.
Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Behind the Veil, your one-stop shop for the I do's and don'ts of Athens weddings.